Hi, I'm Pat Barnard, Group Managing Editor for TMCnet, coming to you from IT Expo West in Los Angeles. And joining me is Steve Ferman, President of eTegrity. Hi Steve, how you doing today?
Good, how you doing, Patrick?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about eTegrity. What do you guys do?
eTegrity is an online data backup and recovery provider for the channel. We work only with the MSPs. What we do is we help MSPs manage their information with their clients and back up and protect their data and recover that data as quickly as possible.
Okay, great. Now I understand your emphasis is not so much on backup, but on recovery.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And why is that more important?
It's, a lot of people just back up your data, and it's great to glom all your data, but, we think that data is different value, and that, if you look at tier 1 data is data you need now, data that's important in your recovery process. That's really important. You need that immediately. In order to be functional, you're spending extra money and downtime for employees and payroll costs. Tier 2 data is data you need, but maybe you don't need it restored right now in a catastrophic event or a non-catastrophic event. And Tier 3 data, we all have garbage on our networks we really want to clean up and get rid of. So why should I try and recover all of that data in a disaster when I can get myself up and running faster? If you tier the data out and understand what data you have and manage it better, you can get up and running faster.
Okay. Now tell me what industries or verticals you guys are playing strongest in.
We really hit them all. HIPAA compliancy in the healthcare industry is huge for us. The security industry, we have some nice certifications like the FIPS 140-2, which is the federal industry security certification given out by the government. It's the only online backup software company that has that.
Okay.
Legal industries as well. Professional services we seem to do really well in.
Right. So I would assume it's safe to say that regulatory compliance is driving a lot of your growth right now.
Absolutely, and that's why tiering your data is so important, because you have this regulatory compliance to store your data, but if you have to store all that as tier 1 data, trying to recover it, it's like putting too much water through a hose. It's not going to fit.
Right.
So by segregating it, it really makes a big difference, and we help those compliance agencies meet the regulations.
Right, and some of these regulations have resulted in a dramatic increase in the amount of data that needs to be stored. Sometimes you got to go back 8, 9, 10 years worth of data, right?
Correct, correct.
So storage has become a very critical factor, and the more you got to store, the more you're at risk for losing a lot.
That's correct. Absolutely, and that's where we help our channel really empower them to help their clients and their end users. Okay. And we're channel only.
All right, great. Now I understand you have a new product announcement that you're announcing here at the show.
We do. Okay. Yes, we do. Virtual Office. It's pretty much buying infrastructure for your office is becoming obsolete. We talk about backup and recovery, and it's very important. But what if you lived in disaster recovery mode at all times? So all your infrastructure is in the clouds. It's segregated or it's replicated over many data centers. Right. In effect, you're really never down. Right. And for disaster mode, you do get automatic backup, and if you need longer retention for regulatory compliance, you can back it up to another data center. So in effect, it's all virtualized, you're never down. And we're helping our channel go out and help their end clients not spend that capital expenditure up front. Right. And just spend a monthly fee to get what they need. Right.
And just getting back to my initial question about the verticals and markets you're playing, what are the size of the companies, the organizations that you're dealing with the most? I mean, do you finding that smaller organizations that maybe don't have quite as much data to back up and potentially recover maybe have less of a need, or is it just as important to them due to the increasingly regulatory environment?
I would say, a couple of years ago it was more the smaller businesses, but now it's getting more into the higher enterprise, the mid-market, and into the enterprise, where they're realizing, they have all this data to move. And another big thing for them is meeting their backup window. So if they can't get all their data backed up at nighttime during the window they have to do a backup, it's becoming a major issue as their data grows. And disk is cheap, so people are just throwing dollars after it, which is great. But again, we're back to, if you manage that information and manage the life cycle of your data, it's a lot easier to get what you need to get your recovery time objectives met. So yeah, I think it's changing a lot more to the mid and the enterprise. It's growing. Okay,
great. I understand you spoke on one of the panel sessions here yesterday, is that right?
Yeah, we gave a presentation yesterday. It was titled, Are You Waiting for Disaster to Happen Before You Realize What Your Data's Worth?
Okay, and what'd you touch on during that?
Pretty much, again, about the tiering of data and actually trying to get our MSPs and our resellers to understand you need to engage your clients. You need to go out and talk to them, because their expectation is that you're backing up their data. If I say to you, I'm doing your backup, you assume I'm backing up what? Everything, right? Everything. So, what we need them to understand is you need to have those conversations and build the proper expectations with your clients that we're backing up this data. You can have it back when, and how big is your pipe that you have in your office? Maybe you need a bigger internet connection or not. And also there's different approaches, like a local approach, and an off-site storage approach really makes the most sense.
Uh-huh,
So in a non-catastrophic event, your internet's down, you can still do a full restore.
Right.
Plus at land speeds, it's a lot faster.
Right.
And if your internet is, is up, obviously, and you don't have the data locally, you can always get it from off-site as well.
Okay. All right, great. We've been talking to Steve Ferman, president of eTegrity, coming to you from IT Expo West in Los Angeles.
Great. Thank you.